You found yourself at another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Predictions character video. There's tons of these on the internet, but before thinking about a lot of characters as a whole, let me ask you this. Who do you just want? That's it, no rules, just who do you want? Before we get to this idea that more DLC fighters are on the way, which is awesome by the way, who do you think that one is? I'm talking about the last one of this Fighters Pass. We have one character left in this Fighters Pass, and you know, it's been a very interesting pass. We have new blood like Joker entering the fray. Hero represents multiple characters across the Dragon Quest franchise. Banjo and Kazooie, a very old icon that isn't relevant today and is a representative from one of Nintendo's biggest competitors. And Terry Bogard is a name that only the most hardcore fighting game fans will probably care about. And we'll all have like these logical picks for whatever this last fighter is, but you know, what if we're in a world where we could just simply desire something? There's no formula, no anything. It's just what would our own personal picks, like the things that would make us go, ah! No rules, no deconfirming, just who on a personal level we would love to be in Smash Bros. Well, this week I am sharing my 5 personal picks that would make me just so damn stoked, and a couple of these I just know like there's no way, there's issues with it. I have that broken down in another video. And if you want videos like this every single week where you can chit chat with someone in the community about things like games and anime, then subscribe and hit the bell to become Geek Proud Awesome. But without further ado, here would be my 5. I've wanted Rayman in ever since the Wii U Smash game. Like seriously, Rayman just, I don't know man, he's an iconic platformer character to me, and yes, he doesn't have really many games, or any games probably coming out today, but just something about his moveset style, he'd be such a wacky character, probably one of the most wackiest characters you could add to this game, with how his limbs are just floating off of his body, and his character design would also fit that cartoon style that I don't mind having more of those in the roster. I really don't. I like the cartoon iconic characters. It's Rayman, you know, he'd be a great representative from Ubisoft. He'd still be this fun, rated E character with that art style and everything. Like, it'd just be neat to have him as the representative from Ubisoft, to which there is no Ubisoft representative yet. No rabbits. I will say, however, I wouldn't mind the rabbits being spirits, as well as a lot of cool spirits could be coming in for Rayman, just like every other Fighter Pass character has brought in spirits and so on. Rayman just be cool to me, man. He'd just be cool. Arguably the face of the PlayStation 1 and considered amongst folks like Mario and Sonic back then was Crash Bandicoot. This guy is a very iconic character, and he's pretty high up there in the polls, but we're not talking about likeliness, just why. Why would I personally love to have this guy in this game? It's Crash, it's freaking Crash. People, I feel like hardcore gamers will at least recognize Crash, but Crash is just such an iconic character to me, and he would also be kind of like Rayman with that wacky moveset, you know, with his spins, and maybe he could like summon crates somehow. Not to mention his persona is so simple-minded and everything, so he'd just be the Looney Tune character of this whole thing, as well as he has that cartoon art style like Rayman. And this would also be an Activision rep. We don't have an Activision rep, and if there was one, as much as I would be down with Ratchet and Clank and Spyro, Crash would be the one, man. It would have to be Crash. Honestly, he's kind of tied with number 3, I'd say. However, to round out this Fighters Pass, I really want a gun-based character. So that being said,
I need a weapon.
Easily one of the most iconic figures in gaming history, and for no doubt like one of the top in terms of shooters, is Master Chief, the flagship face of Microsoft. Can you imagine Master Chief and Mario, the 2 flagship characters to these, you know, one of the big 3s, you know, just them being in the same game? That would be crazy to me. And of course, you know, on the personal level, of course, I love seeing the man representing one of my 2 favorite game franchises in here. But the biggest thing about him is that I really do want a gun character to be in this pass to round it out. You know, we got the fighter, we got Joker, whatever you want to classify him as a tech character, Banjo, the cartoony one, and Hero as a swordsman. I want a gun character. I want a gun-focused character, and I think Master Chief would be a great person to be able to do that. Now, I'm not talking about likeliness. Again, we're just talking about fantasy picks here, but he'd be so cool with a moveset like the down B could be his bubble shield. He could have a sticky grenade. I'm not sure what move that'd be attached to, but I'd love to see a sticky grenade. He has a lot of brute strength. Maybe charging his special would be a Spartan laser. I could picture Master Chief just working in this game, and he wouldn't be too brutal either. Yes, he's got a lot of weapons, but it'd be just so cool to see him and Samus on the same team or against each other or something like that, because they're both armed space soldiers. Another character to fit my desire to have a gun-based character is Geno. No doubt. Geno, now he's not a gun-based character per se, but he does use a lot of moves that involve shooting pebbles and shooting magic. You know, that's another thing about him. He's a very different kind of character in the roster, you know? We got Rob functioning as like a robot, and we got magic users, so to speak, but Geno he kind of blends it all together and would be this really different styled character, as well as the character design, again, is another cartoony side of things, and I would not mind that whatsoever. And you might not know who Geno is. He's from this game that Square and Nintendo worked together to publish, and it's a Super Mario RPG game, and you know, the biggest reason I want him is just because he is so in demand from the veteran Smash community. Yes, I know Sora has worked his way up to the top of those charts the past year or two, but Geno has always been there. He's been like a very requested character from the veteran Smash community, along characters like Ridley, K. Rool, and Banjo, and guess what? All three of those guys made it in, and Geno would really be a crazy note to end this Fighters Pass on specifically, because they picked all these iconic characters, and Geno would have been a really cool idea to be like, hey, we didn't know we'd make more DLC characters, but we originally wanted to end this with Geno, that character that the Smash community has always wanted. I think that'd be awesome. Before we get to the number one though, make sure you leave me who you would want most personally, like ignoring all rules, just who would you want? Share that in the comments. I would love to see that, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't yet. We got like a Smash tourney and other content that you'll like coming up. That being said, Doomguy, Doomslayer, whichever one you want to call them, if you want a gun-based character to represent that genre of gaming, first-person shooters, whatever, then you can't get more iconic than Doomguy. You could list a lot of other people, but Doomguy is so damn legacy in terms of characters in that shooter genre, which is sorely underrepresented in Smash in my opinion. Not to mention Bethesda doesn't have a rep in here, and they have had a great relationship with Nintendo and publishing their games on the platform. I mean, heck, as of next year, there's gonna be like, what, 6 Doom games on the Switch? His art style would be such a different thing, and I really don't know how they will handle him in terms of pure brutality. This is a guy that does not play around like Bayonetta, Joker, or Snake does. Doomguy is a brutal warrior, okay? So I don't know how they'll make it work, but I would love to see how they do. His art style would be such a mature, kind of like, you know, the realistic designs in the game. He would be very different in that sense, and his moveset could have the viciousness that like Ridley's got. The grabs would be the most intimidating grabs in the game. They would have to be. It's freaking, you know, if you see Doom, you know what I'm talking about. His skins could have both the more recent Doom Slayer look as well as the classic Doomguy look. This would be another suited up soldier to be alongside Samus. And oh my god, the music, please. That's a reason alone to buy it. Even if you don't want Doomguy, just buy it for that music. That's it. As much as I absolutely love the idea of Geno being the final fighter on this pass, that, you know, was the original intent before they announced more DLC fighters, I personally would just love to see Doomguy rounded out as well, because I just want that shooter-based character to represent that genre of gaming, and I can't think of anybody that would be more of a legacy pick than the one and only the Doomslayer. There's definitely issues I have with pretty much everybody on this list though in the terms of likeliness, except for Crash and Doom. They actually have some decent chances, and I break that down in a video you'll see down below or in the cards above. I break down those two characters as well as a couple other ones in terms of just complete like logical sense. So you can check that out. And don't forget to share your fantasy pick or picks in the comments below, and I'd love to just see them and maybe comment off of it. So share that, and I will see you in the next video.